Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with number 117 in the series Viewers Games. If you would like your game to be analyzed and showcased on the Chess to Impress YouTube channel, you can send it to me by email to classroomchess64@gmail.com. In this video it is the turn of Xavi, and Xavi says, "Hi Rick, I'm one of your fans, I have to say. Great analysis and great channel. This game was a blitz game and I tried a rook sacrifice." Well, that sounds very interesting. It was played on chess.com, a blitz game. I don't have the exact time control. The white player went under the name of Smedem, had a rating of 1684 on chess.com, and black was Rook, which is Xavi, with a rating of 1681, so only 3 points in the difference. Xavi was black, so we're going to look at this game from the black side, and white opened with the knight. c5, inviting the Sicilian after e2, e4, but white goes for an unusual line, c3. d5 from Xavi, and d4. We have a reversed Slav defense with an extra move for white. This is the formation of the Slav defense, but white has that extra move, knight f3. Knight c6 from Xavi, and white took on c5. e5 from Xavi, playing a gambit line, which is playable in a Slav on the white side. Is it also playable on the black side? That pawn is now attacked, but white is going to hang on to it with b4. Knight f6 developing, a3, e4, attacking the knight. Knight went to d4, bishop d7, bishop g5, and bishop e7 on pinning the knight on f6. e3 from Smedem, knight e5 from Xavi. The engine thinks that castling kingside is the best move here to finish development, not playing with the same piece in the opening twice. But that's what Xavi did. He played the knight to e5, queen b3, threatening to win a second pawn with bishop takes f6, and then queen takes d5. That pawn will then be unprotected. And here Xavi plays a strange move. He plays the knight back to c6, taking his last move back, giving white 2 extra tempi. Not the way to play if you've gambited a pawn in the opening. And also this move is not stopping white picking up a second pawn. Bishop e6 would have been a better and more logical move to give that d5 pawn extra protection. But knight c6 was played, and white goes for that second pawn. Bishop takes, and queen takes. White is just 2 pawns up for nothing now. But we were promised a rook sacrifice in the introduction, so let's see how this game continues. Here Xavi castled, and now knight d2 is a very normal move. Developing, white is behind in development, so he has to bring his pieces into play, and knight d2 makes a lot of sense. But white is getting greedy and took on e4 with the queen. 3 pawns up. But now black gets some counterplay. Rook e8 with a tempo on the queen. The queen went to d3. And now a very typical way of getting counterplay is a5. Black is getting play against white's pawn structure on the queen side. White is far from being developed. He needs at least 3 more moves to finish his development. The bishop has to come out, the knight has to come out, and white needs to castle. But Xavi did not play a5, he played knight e5. Again, that knight has been there before. Attacking the queen, queen dropped back to c2, and now knight g4, starting an adventure that is objectively incorrect, but in a blitz game there's a chance that it works. Bishop e2 developing, and here comes that rook sacrifice that we were promised. Rook takes e3, 1 question mark because it is not a correct sacrifice, but 2 exclamation marks for bravery. White took the rook, knight takes, hitting the queen, and queen d2. Not the right square for the queen, but it's very hard to calculate in a blitz game that this is actually not a good square for the queen. White wants to hide with his king on the queen side. That's a safe area for the king. And with the queen on d2, this won't work, as we'll see. What white should have played is queen d3. 1 square can make a big difference. Let's look at a variation. Let's play the same move as in the game. Knight takes g2 check. well, then the king can go to the queen side. Because if there's something like bishop a4 check, the king just goes to c1 and gets to safety there. And if instead you play bishop g5 to take the diagonal away from the king, then there is knight d2, taking control of the c1 square again, and after bishop a4 check, the king can go there. So with the queen on d3, white will be able to hide his king on the queen side where it is relatively safe. But as said, queen d2 was played, and that makes a big difference, because now Xavi also took on g2 with check, and now you cannot go to the queen side. King d1 doesn't work because of bishop a4 check, and if you go to c1, then there is the obvious bishop g5, and that wins the queen. That doesn't work. And if after bishop a4 check you interpose the knight on c2, then there is bishop g5 hitting the queen, and after queen d3 there is queen e7, and now rook to d8 is a big threat. And just look at his position. All black's pieces are better than white's. Yes, he's a rook down, but white's king is in the center, his rooks are still on their initial squares, the knight on b1 is still at home, the queen is in the firing line of the rook that is threatening to come to d8. It is no surprise that the engine gives a winning advantage for black. So after knight takes g2 check, the king cannot go to the queen side, as we just saw. White saw that and played king f2, but now the king is quite vulnerable there. There's no pawn protection on the king side, and as said, black's pieces are very active. In this position, bishop g5 followed by knight e3 is the best way to play, and it gives black enough play against white's king to achieve a perpetual or a move repetition. This game will end in a draw with good play from both sides. But after king f2, Xavi played bishop h3. And now the engine shows that bishop f3 is white's best move. But it's very difficult to defend accurately in a position like this with the king in the open, harassed by 4 black pieces, and with white's own queen side undeveloped. As always, attacking is easier than defending. It's a very dangerous position for white. After bishop h3, white did not find the right move. He played rook g1, and that is a blunder. Suddenly, black is winning. There is actually a mate in 2 already in the position. If you want to look for yourself how to checkmate the white king in 2 moves from here, put the video on pause. Xavi found the first move, bishop h4 check. The king went to f3, but he did not find the checkmate move, which is actually very nice. Queen d5 is checkmate here. The king is caught in the middle of the board by black's 4 pieces. Very nice checkmate. After king f3, Xavi did not find a checkmate, but it doesn't really matter. He played queen f6 check, that is good enough, it just delays the checkmate for a few more moves. King e4, the king has to go in open field. No protection from his pieces, so no surprise that this leads to checkmate as well. Queen c6 check, king d5, the king keeps going up. Bishop e6 check, that bishop was taken. Queen takes, and here white resigned. 1 move from checkmate. King d4 is the only legal move, and then rook d8 is checkmate. Again, the king being caught in the center of the battlefield. Very nice win from Xavi. Strange opening play with that knight c6, e5, c6 maneuver, but then he completely redeemed himself with this beautiful rook sacrifice, which objectively is not correct, but what is objective in a game between 1600 players and very little time to think. It was a great move, very brave Xavi, and you took the practical chances and won a very nice game. Checkmate in 25 moves. Well played, and thanks very much for entertaining us. And what about our game, Rick with white against the Chess to Impress viewers with black? Every Sunday we make a move in this game as part of the Viewers Game series. Last Sunday I played queen c2 to d2, tickling your pawn on h6, which is now attacked twice and only defended once. So in the 3 videos from last week I asked you what is your move for black, and you put your moves in the comment section. Let's see what you came up with. We saw some interesting discussions and deliberations in the comment section. 5 different moves were suggested, and king g8 to h7 to protect that h6 pawn was voted for 10 times. 4 times h5, 3 times g5, Queen to h5 was voted for 3 times, and one player wanted to give up the pawn on h6 and play knight b8 to d7 to get some of the black pieces off the back rank. But king g8 to h7, the most natural move in the position, is your 23rd move. So let's put it on the board. There it goes, king g8 to h7, protecting the h6 pawn, now with both king and bishop. So it's my move, my 24th move, and I've thought about it for a long time. I played around with it on a real chess set and have decided on knight c3 to b5. Making use of the fact that the a pawn is pinned. You can take my knight, but then you lose your rook in the corner. I want to put some pressure on the d6 pawn. I want to threaten knight c7, which would be a fork on both rooks, which looks nice for white. And I have some ideas of playing bishop f4 to put even more pressure on the d6 pawn. I also saw that my b2 pawn is protected well enough. You're attacking it with 2 pieces, but it's defended by 2 pieces. And also the e4 pawn is only defended once and attacked twice, but you won't be able to capture on e4 because you would have to take with the queen, and that is not an option for black. So knight b5 is my move, and now it is your turn again. What would you play here on the 24th move for black? You can take part in this game by putting your move in the comment section underneath this video, and also in the other videos that I will post next week on Tuesday and Thursday. By doing so, you will not only be part of this very exciting game, you will also be in a raffle. At the end of the game, I will raffle a chess book amongst the viewers who have taken part in the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing your moves in the comment section. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress YouTube channel, and please leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you like the video, if you like the Viewers Game series, the link to the playlist is in the description box of this video. Then please share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.